this form a higher low? Do we find support, here on the RSI? Do we find support here on the EMAs? Or do we find resistance and continue down, which would ultimately just kind of change our downtrend like this, which if it does go for that lower low, that would fill the Thorcall, come up, meet resistance, retest EMAs, and would also be making the lower high, right? So now that we've got a whole shit ton of calls stacked up, I'm going to have to look at some of them and see exactly where they all are. I know some of them are all the way down at, one of them was like $11 or something crazy. But, I mean, I'm still at this time, we did have the bearish cross and we crossed back over, but we could easily have the EMAs cross back, to the underside. We could easily begin printing candles again below the EMA because you see we've, ever since we started printing candles below the white line, right? These were pretty much all above. And once we started really printing candles below the white, we're starting to come down. So it'll be interesting to see. Was this our lower high right here? I'm sorry, our higher low right here at $93, where we found support again. But to me, it looks like we're meeting some resistance there. Remember last week we said we didn't want to go short until we broke at least this trend, right? Till at least this trend was broken because we were moving up. So we said we wanted to see this. And what do we have? We've got the break. We've got the retest. And if I throw a fib up there, it hit the gold zone perfect. And if you look at take profit point right here near the Thor long entry, you go down to the next one right there in the Thor long entry. You go down to the next fib right down there in the zone that we said we may see get refilled, right? So fib right in the zone, fib right in the zone, fib right by the zone. These are all things that signify that this could be at least a temporary downtrend continuation.
Mona, I ask? You said this last run when it tested this downtrend, right there, where your mouse is.
Right here?
Is that not a higher high in comparison to the last
to this?
Or I guess my question would be, why are you looking at that versus the next one? Is it the next little
because the time of the move, right? The time of the move. This is just such a short time where when you zoom out and kind of look at, you're always going. That's just kind of sideways action.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I just need to get better at, I guess, determining what is relative sideways action and what would be considered.
Because, right, if you're not breaking this, you're not really setting a higher high or a lower low, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of a zone of accumulation. Now, we did get the lower low, right?
Yeah.
We did not break out to get a higher high. Now, do we break out and see a higher high, or do we break down and get that lower low? But you see, this is kind of shit's just been going sideways since here, right? Since this pump up to here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like that. We're ahead real quick. And now do we, it's never perfect, but you see where there's zones of accumulation. And if you're not breaking a lower low or breaking the higher high, you're just kind of moving sideways. right? It's not until it breaks that I really consider it to be a part of a move and not just sideways. So here I am kind of waiting to see, do we find support and that would be the break and the retest? Or is this going to fall back into the zone and then ultimately our line would kind of be moved like this, right? Which if it does get moved like that, I can see how we start filling some of these Thor long calls. But I mean, it could find support here, right? It is possible that we find the support. But we lost support of the RSI. We're trying to get back to it. We lost support of the EMAs. We're trying to get back to it. What is Big Daddy doing? Big Daddy still hasn't broken out kind of that last shoulder. Right? So I want to see it break out of that shoulder before I consider it to be, bullish, I guess you could say. And right now it looks like we're trying to keep the support, but again, the fibs are lining up pretty close. And my take profit zone, the green or the blue, is right here in that 32,000 range. That again, I think we're going to visit this zone, right? I really do think we're going to revisit that zone. So we'll see what happens with Bitcoin, but it's got to break out of this other shoulder. It's got to break and find support above 44.7, in my opinion, to look like it's making a move back up. Which again, if we go back in time here, look at where we had a couple crosses take place, right? It was under. We had a couple crosses take place. The white EMA over top, the short term above the long term. Now we're having a couple crosses take place. Do we see us come down and test these? I'll zoom out to daily real quick. These support lines down here, back where we dropped down to 15,000. You could probably even draw a trend from when we were down there at 8,000. Or I'm sorry. Wow. Yeah, down there at 4,000. And find that long term support, which again would be coming right down to this zone to find that long term support since Bitcoin what was at $4,000, because we found that support. Looks like we could come down and test that support again easily, right? What is that? That would be about a 25% move, 20 to 30% move. We all know you wake up in crypto and the charts move 20 to 30% out of fucking nowhere, and it's not a big deal. So it can most certainly happen. Anybody got questions? I know I've just been fucking rambling on. Any questions about Sol, Bitcoin, any of the shit that I've just been fucking rambling about?
No, I was just taking notes. I did have like one, which I'm not like messing around too much with like longing and shorting yet. Still trying to like just get basics and stuff down. But I do see this is more, I guess, can get in a little bit in the weeds, which I want to avoid. But I see, like, when I look at like the 1 hour for Sol on Manual Thor, there's 3 calls for shorts and longs. I guess like when I'm looking at the first entry of a
So you
short,
said 1 hour?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, so how would I know, I guess, if I'm looking at this first short at 99.42 to the 99.16, like, I guess that's just mitigating your risk by like watching and moving your stop loss. But like, since there's so many consecutively right there, I guess like, how would you play that? You know, it's like, how do I know if should take the first short when there's like 2 others like right up above it, or would I just like add more to the short if it's going up if I need to, I guess.
That would be one way to do it, is to, DCA into the short, right? You go short at 99. If it goes up to 101, you add a little bit more. If it goes up to that 102, you add a little bit more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the take profit points that are kind of median. You see the take profit one on that first short is 96.80. You see take profit 2 on the second one is 96.80. You see take profit 3 on the third one is just below 96.80, right? So I would think about, maybe, let's say I want to spend $50 on a short. I'm going 20, $10 at 99. $20 at 101, $20 at 102, 96.80 is my take profit point. The other thing to do is map them out, right? You see how I often map. I haven't done these 1 hours yet, but I often map out the Thor long and short calls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now what you do is you look, okay, if we pump up to 99, like where's our resistance? You want to see if we're on the 1 hour, drop down to the 1 hour, right? Okay. So far, not that this is established very long or anything, but here's our 1 hour uptrend, right? Now, I wouldn't consider that to be very strong or anything yet. We still need a kind of a test. But you can look, where would I meet resistance at? And actually, you look at where this fib is, it's right on that 101. So that's kind of what it'd say. If we pump up and retest this top, it's going to be somewhere in this zone. Basically, if you look at where I put my gold zone, 99 to 102, right? It's kind of almost exactly where I have my entry zone for a short that I actually already did on my spot. I sold some of my spot Solana at this point, and I am riding it until, at least until we break this trend, right? At least until this trend is broke. This trend here, I'm
so if that's broken,
waiting to see if I can reaccumulate that spot bag of Solana down here at $74. Sold it at 101, trying to accumulate again at 74, because then for every 4 Solana I sold, I've got 5 if I can buy them back down there.
Yeah, so if that let's just say hypothetically it did right there where it's at break that downtrend, would you like partial buy back in on the retest of that, like on the support of the downtrend, or would you wait to see more indicators?
I'd want to see the support, right? I'd want to see at least a break and at least that higher low.
Yeah,
and make
exactly.
sure I'm not just doing this, right?
So you would
Making
wait
sure
for
we're not,
yeah.
yeah, because otherwise we're right in that zone, just like you asked about. Wait, why don't we
Exactly.
consider that a higher low or a higher high point? Because we hadn't broke out of the zone, right?
Yep.
Until we do make an actual lower point or a higher point, we just got a lot of noise, a lot of confusion.
I guess if for you, let's just say for you, if it made a higher, like it moves out of the higher, what would you try to do? I know you're not going to chase it. You'll wait
This
for
is where
buying
I would
support,
buy.
but yeah, okay.
Even if this is here, even if this pumps up to here, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't ever want to chase. So
Yeah.
if it breaks and pumps up to here and then only retraces to here, but if that's the support I see, at least I'm buying on some type of support. I never want to chase because at any time, it could actually be like this. You don't
Yeah.
know, so don't chase.
Yeah,
Is
that
my
was me,
point.
dude. That was me buying at the top right there, like before Trader Tuesday.
Yeah, I
It's going
sold
to
a
the moon,
little
man. I'm
bit.
buying.
I sold some spot right here at 101. And honestly, what I did was I said, okay, I have a little bit more Solana accumulated that instead of putting it in just holding or just into staking, I'm going to DCA into the contract a little bit more. Well, I need both cash and Solana to DCA into the contract. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead, sell a little bit of that spot bag here at 101, hopefully make my purchase down here, and then hopefully enter into Thor somewhere around these long calls and let my trading, my short call, hopefully take advantage and earn me another 25 to 27% as I go to enter the contract with what I already have. Please, guys, this is open discussion. If anyone has questions, like, that's what I'm here for.
Well, I know it's new, but Jupe, what do you think?
Jupe, give me a second.
Yo, my bad, guys. My
What's
girl
up, man?
give me up.
What up, young?
Not much, not much. We're looking at Jupe now. What's up?
Yeah, we'll go to Jupe real quick. All right. Well, there you go. You can see where I sold some. Um, you can see where I sold a little bag of Jupe there. What was that?
Oh yeah, that looks like it's on the rise.
Well, we haven't seen a higher high or higher low yet, right? We saw it kind of flatline here and looked like it was kind of base, but it ended up making the lower low, and we still don't have that higher high. So I want to see, it's so hard because this is such a new token too. Like, we don't have much data to go with. We don't have like, well, this is typically what it does, right? So I think I'd be looking at this as my trend, really. Ignore a little bit of that first just craziness
Yeah,
and go off these tops here because we've got strong resistance. We've got strong resistance. And right now, this looked really strong pumping up into it, right? just like this looks really strong now too. But I need to see the break and the retest before I'm going to buy back in what I sold here at 61 cents. Right? I sold some 61, whatever. But I want to see break, retest, forming that higher low, giving me that upward trend to at least have some, what's just happening? At least have something to buy on the retest and buy on some support of some kind, right? Now, I don't know where that's going to happen, right? I'm not saying this is the bottom and this is the break and the retest. This break and retest may not happen till down here, right? I don't know when it's going to happen. That's why I don't say, well, if it's going to make the break and retest, I might as well buy now because it's closer to the bottom, right? Well,
We could just
what
go
if we meet
sideways, right?
resistance there
For a
again and
while.
we just go down? Yeah. I need to see the break and the retest. Then I have an uptrend established. Then the trend is my friend. And this trend is ended at that point, right? The trend is your friend till your end. So if I see, okay, this trend is ending, right? We broke. Do we get the retest? Yes, we got the retest. This trend is ending. I'm out of it. This could be the beginning of the next trend. I'm going to get in, even if I don't get in till here, right? And my stop loss is below last low, right? Stop loss would be below last low to make sure I'm holding support, higher lows, higher highs. Or, I'm not necessarily saying you should have a stop loss. You're trying to accumulate, I think. Just look for that support, but look for the break of the downtrend first. At least wait till the break. Some type of higher low or higher high, something to indicate that we could now be not just slowly continuing sideways and down, right? Little sideways and down, little down, sideways and down. Any questions on Jute before I go back to Soul and everything?
Is it possible?
No.
Is it possible that we refill the zone, the lower zones? I mean, the candle begins at, I don't know, 30 cents or something. Could it be that we also go down like that?
Absolutely. Anything's possible. I mean, it could go lower than this first candle.
Okay.
And that's what I mean. It could easily just keep lower low, lower high, working down this way. I mean, you never know. What I want to see is a break and a retest. At that point, I've got at least some indication it's not just continuing to do this.
Mhm.
Because it most certainly can, you're right. Now we don't have a lot of data to, where I feel you've been on plenty of my streams where you'll see me say, okay, here's a zone we need to retest, right? Because we had no price action. That doesn't really count for like a launch here, right? Like that's you can't really count the initial candle, but that doesn't mean it's not going to either. It most certainly could come down in this zone again. That's why this is my main indicator of when I see this break. That's when I want to start to DCA back in with what I sold up here, right?
Mhm.
Currently 15%, not bad. even if I end up buying back and it's all the way back up here again, okay, still got 5%. That's great. But I don't want to buy here and it end up going down here. I want something. I needed to break out of this first.
And then you would buy when it retests back down on that.
I'll buy a little bit when I see it's breaking out, and then I will load up because sometimes, the break and retest. That's why I say buy on the break and retest, not break or retest, is because sometimes you'll see the break, right? And the retest may be up here. So you wanted to buy at the break. Well, sometimes the retest is down here. This is lower than the break, but it's still a higher low, right? This is still a higher low, but it's lower than the break. So if you buy, again, if you want to spend $50 on a trade, spend 20, 25 of it here on the break and spend 20, 25 of it on the retest, be it a break and retest like this, or be it, a break and a retest like this, where, okay, sweet, you got even a little bit better DCA into it, right? Because sometimes if you're buying into the break, it's already taken off. And it may come down and revisit these points again, but still it's breaking, retesting, and holding the higher level. And that's the thing that really you have to decide what type of trader you are. Are you the type of trader that is trying to absolutely snipe the bottom point within just a couple percent, or and hold tight stop losses and know that you're going to buy here thinking it's the bottom and be wrong? You're going to buy here thinking it's the bottom and be wrong. You're going to buy here, maybe right and wrong, but when you're right, you're going to get a major pump. But you got to make sure you're kind of trying on each one. Or are you the type of trader that says, okay, I have one indicator. We've broken downtrend. I have a second indicator of, holding the higher low, right? Third indicator would be going for the higher high. But at least you have some indication of the trend has changed, because the trend is your friend until the end. And if you're trying to fight against the trend, I don't know anything that fights against the trend except for Thor, and is successful. Thor is successful in it. I will say, because Thor is good at, a downtrend like this, calling this retest right here. Bam. Then calling this retest right here. Bam. And then calling this retest right here. That's a lot of times where Thor excels in the shorter time frame calls, right? Is because it has the data points of what was support, what is potential resistance, what is potential support, what is potential resistance, what is the probability that it finds support and then hits that resistance, and then Thor will post the call. That's why I was saying, there's a lot of long calls for Thor right now on Sol. Well, if we're going to start filling long calls, that means Sol needs to go down, right? If we're going to start filling this long call, and the long call at down here, Sol needs to go down to fill the long calls. But you see what Sol is doing, or I'm sorry, what Thor is doing. It's calling, here is a support zone, right? This is a support zone. It was resistance, it was resistance, it was resistance, it became support. So if we come down and test it again and enter this zone, we're going to look to find support, and where we had support, 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 test that as a resistance now. What is support becomes resistance. What is resistance often becomes support, right?
How do I know that the retest is confirmed or failed, or right? Is as soon as I see green candle, for example, or
Good question. So what I want to see is a candle that opens and closes. So right now, we had resistance, this is the 4-hour time frame, but we had resistance, right? We had resistance. So this is a trend that can be established. Now, since we've come up here and we've found printed a candle in full, it's open and closed, and it closed below the EMA. And since we're at the RSI, really what I'd like to see is just one more candle close below the RSI. And now I've got two candles showing me that we're resisting off of the downtrend and we're resisting off of the EMA, right? So if this next candle were to close red, that looks like, okay, I've met resistance at that point. Just like here, we got a candle to meet, it pushed down, but it really pumped up, right? Now, once you get that next one, okay. Now you could have entered anywhere on this next candle. Same thing. If I see red, I'm looking to enter anywhere on that next candle and set my stop loss above what I think was the established high or resistance. Just like had I done it here, my stop loss would be right above here, which was the last high or resistance. When I entered here at 101, I saw this first candle close, and then I jumped in and I got out, and I set my stop loss essentially here, right above what I thought was the last point of resistance. Now, I did jump the gun early on that a little bit, but it's because that's what I was looking for this zone when I set my fib, right? Once I had this strong retest off of the long-term EMA, I said, okay, if we get right here in this zone, I am going to go short because the fibs line up so well with the entry points of the Thor longs, right? Entry point, entry point, entry point, just below that long. So, yeah, ultimately, if we see a red candle close here, I'd say we've met resistance at the red line. And if we are closing red, we've obviously closed below the short-term EMA again. But that's, I know it's situational, but what I want to see in this situation or any other, even going long, is I want to see a candle open and close that either shows the support I'm looking for or shows the resistance I'm looking for at the point that my technical analysis tells me that there should be some type of support or there should be some type of resistance, and then you manage your risk. Because if you do this, say you do it 5 times and you're only right once, you can still be profitable. But if you get good at this and you're right 2 out of 5 times or 3 or 4 out of 5 times, that's when you begin to really become profitable. But you can manage your risk and be right 1 out of 5 times on that, but just find your strategy, stick to it. Mine is I need to see a candle open and close in favor of what I think is the support point or what I think is the resistance point.
Yeah, that actually helps out because I remember last time you mentioned wanting to see candles close, and no, yeah, this like made it
So
stick with
even if I broke down here to the 1 hour, right? If I saw this candle close and meeting this resistance, I'd be looking to enter anywhere on these next 2 candles, and my stop loss right above that resistance. So even if you got in here and that big green candle pumped, it still didn't stop you out, right? It still didn't break to the higher high yet. Now, if this comes down, now you're in profit. That's why you don't on the fly make the decision. Oh shit, we got the green candle. I'm bailing out. Oh shit, we're printing the red. I'm getting back in. That's emotional trading. That is going to get you wrecked. You say, okay, I see some type of indication. I see 2 red candles printing at my resistance. Okay, I'm going to get in, set stop loss above last high. Right? So even if you got in right here, your stop loss, you still haven't hit stop loss above last high, even with that big green candle pump, right? Now, had you got in on that candle somewhere, you're already in profit. But does that make sense? I want to see, let's go, even when I'm looking for support, right? Like I've seen a big dump. Okay, I've got a candle to open in favor, right? Same thing. Once I get a candle to kind of open in favor, especially I like to see, as I said, if I can get 2 candles to open and close in favor, right? And then set stop loss above last low. Get 2 candles to open and close in favor, set stop loss above last high. 2 candles to open in favor, set stop loss above last low. But, that's when, if you're looking at where do you get in on this, sometimes don't be chasing, but look for your indicators. I see some of the DGen shitcoin trader chat and everything else. I know I don't advocate for leverage and everything else, but I know some of you fucking DGens are going all in and making leverage plays and everything else. And I tell you what, there ain't nothing fucking wrong with that as long as you're managing your risk.
Hey, don't be hating on my DJs, man.
Yo, dude, I forgot who, but he leveraged Sol, 100x.
Oh damn!
Yeah, I forgot who though. Fuck. But yeah, it was a legendary. It was a little legendary if I say so.
I mean,
I
the
personally
thing
stopped
is
using
you're
leverage
talking
like to that
1%.
degree.
So 1%, if you were to get in like right where this trade is, this is your liquidation point. That's all it has to do is go up to here for you to be liquidated, basically. Because 1% times 100, see ya. But then again, if you're fucking good and you make a call, just manage your risk so you don't get liquidated. That's the ultimate thing. If you're leverage trading and whatever, don't make it gambling, right? Leverage trade. trade on some type of support or some type of resistance and add a little leverage to it, but still manage your risk. Don't be gambling and just firing away longs and shorts, right? That's emotional trading, and that's what gets you wrecked, especially if you get in a sideways stage, right? Because what's going to happen is you say, "Oh, I'm going to go long," and you get liquidated. You get hit your stop loss. "Oh, I'm going to go short." Little teeny pump, you hit stop loss. "Oh, I'm going to go long." I got little teeny, but the price really isn't moving anywhere. But when you got leverage attached, those are big moves, right?
Don't be
Yeah,
hating on
I'm
my
saving-
DJs, man.
Saving that leverage for a sunny day.
Like I said, I mean, I don't hate on leverage trade, but I'm not going to advocate it here on Trader Tuesday or Frogs. That's not what Thor is really designed for. That's not what Sile would advocate, and so therefore I won't either. But you know, it's a good skill to have. You can most certainly make good money. You just don't have much room for error. So make sure you have some type of confirmation, right? Make sure you've got some type of good indicators that are lining up before you make your move. Because if you're just making moves, you're gonna, and because remember too, it's not just you got fees. Every time you click that button, you got fees. And if you got fees on leverage, you got your fees are also on leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it don't nickel and dime yourself to death. Just make sure you're making good, solid entries and managing your risk. But there's
And
lots of
$11.
little moves. Lots of little moves that you can, 2% right there. I mean, if you've got a 10x leverage, there you go. That's 20%. And 10x is, nowhere near 100. Even if you were to get the break, the retest there, resistance and then the second resistance, take the second resistance point until you find a little bit of support. There's another 2%, right? So that could be another 20, and that's not even the full move, Had you set your trend line, waited for the break, you could have got an extra 0.5%, but times 10. Now you're, closer up to 30% profit. But yeah, not gonna advocate that. Thor can use Thor as you see fitting. I'll say that, and just ultimately manage risk. That's literally the one thing I have to say about.
It'll go a long way.
Yeah, because if you manage your risk, you can try lots of leverage trades and hopefully have something in your way be profitable, right? But if you just gambling without a stop loss, what do you do once your trading account's gone? I mean, when you get liquidated, you've got nothing left to work with. What do you do? So, what they always say, live to fight another day. It's the same thing, make sure you can trade again another day. Because if you're just like, I'm going in 50x right now saying it's going short. Well, yeah, it may go short, but 50x leverage, here's a 2% pump. All it needs to do is come up to here and you're liquidated before it then goes down in your favor. And you're like, oh, fuck, you know how much money I could have made? But, coulda, woulda. manage your risk, or else you can't coulda, woulda again.
Anything that can happen will happen.
What did I just hear? What did I hear? Something that only happens once will never happen again. But if it happens twice, it will most certainly happen a third.
So you mean if I get struck by lightning twice, it's happening a third time? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep. You
Fuck.
better watch your ass, boy. You got it.
Good to know. If I get struck once, I got a chance. If I get struck twice, I'm not going outside again.
My uncle got struck by lightning.
I had a buddy who got struck by lightning.
He got struck by lightning through a window.
That sounds personal.
Some old school shit. They had those fucking like clothes drying racks that were like big fucking metal.
Oh, they acted as a conductor, huh?
And he was closing the window, and fucking lightning hit that motherfucker and hit him too.
Zeus said, "Gotcha, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Dude, I legit had a friend who was like, he's an idiot in high school, and he was like getting into like leading people on hikes and all that stuff. And one of the people he was leading was like, "You won't go out there and stand out there with this golf club standing up in the air, like holding it up in the air." He's like, "Fuck you, I'll do it right now." Dude got struck by fucking lightning, and you can see like even to this day some of his like veins, it like partially burned. It's almost like a partial tattoo on his skin.
Fuck me.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like,
that's some mutant shit.
Yeah. It looks like an actual tattoo. Like you're just like, what?
Harry Potter.
Pretty damn close one. This was actually really weird. I was standing on a dock over water, and I was young too. I was like a teenager, right? And I didn't know what was happening, but I was like, the only thing I could associate, I'm like, am I having a heart attack right now? Like, so
you
I'm
felt
like,
your hair standing up. You felt that?
No,
weird
dude,
shit.
I felt my chest compressing and like shit not right,
There's a
and
pressure
me
difference.
feeling dizzy. I was afraid I was gonna fall over and maybe fall off the dock. So I ran back off of the dock, turned around and sat down, and no sooner did I sit down and then lightning struck the fucking water I was standing over top of. I think I felt like the buildup coming. Like, dude, I have no idea what a heart attack feels like, but as a teenager, I didn't know anything. And having this chest compression, I'm like, am I having a heart attack? What the fuck's happening?
That
Dude,
sounds like
boom.
It sounds like it's correlated with, I mean, shit, all electrical impulses, right? With the heart. So
his body was telling him, like,
yeah, you were like a beacon, dude.
I was getting like an electrical charge buildup.
Yeah.
Like, I guess the static buildup.
Your body was reacting to
water.
the electrons. Yeah.
Are you
I was afraid I was gonna pass out or something and maybe fall in the water. So that's why I just ran to fucking shore real quick. It wasn't far. It was only like like 20 feet. I'm not like
that's wild.
Running and diving like
you were about to get your first introduction from Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little did you know.
Thor almost fucking
it was a sign.
He ended mode before we got him, so no trade
Mode the chosen one.
I probably just 2, 4, 9. Wouldn't be much use had that fucker hit me.
That's fucking wild.
Anyway,
man,
everybody's leaving the stream. They're like, "What in the fuck? I came to learn to trade. What is this shit?"
Talk about lightning. Now we're going to talk about TMB.
You see the candle on Omi. I'm pretty positive when you put that zone, like, because it was near the like relative
Whoa!
buy zone.
Oh,
Yeah, boy.
Damn, that thing
Yeah,
shot up.
Mm, look at
Uh-huh.
that buy zone we established.
And
We
I
said if
bought
it's
in
in
that
this
zone.
zone, yeah, boy.
Like
Let's
clockwork.
see.
I bought like it's a little bit before the last drop where it goes out of the zone a little bit.
Nice. I mean, you're up 40+% then. And honestly, I don't think that's shit. Like our resistance, right? I'd be looking for my first take profit right here at about 9.5.
Okay.
Because that'll probably be somewhere near this downtrend. We also see resistance, 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 resistance. So we'll probably at least test that resistance in my opinion. That's where I'd be looking for take some profits.
There's been a lot of buying because they are announcing that OMI to NFT is coming. So in the app, you'll be able to move your OMI into the app and then buy those NFTs with OMI. So people are stacking that OMI. No.
I mean, there's our major resistance point. Just clean 500% up. Just 500%.
You know.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
financial
baby.
advice. Do your own research, motherfuckers.
What was what did Gala do? Remember? Look at
the zone you bought or you drew. Just like following it.
My financial advice: do your own research.
So now I need to buy some Gala.
Looking to buy a little. I mean, look at this is a daily chart too, mind you, not just a 4-hour. I switched to daily. But this to me looks like an inverted head and shoulder type deal.
Yeah.
Which actually this is way fucking tighter, you know. But you usually want to see this shoulder up just a touch higher. And, you know, that was in our zone of, we said, if this is our big break of the downtrend, which you see this massive downtrend line we've got, right? Big fucker right there. Since the beginning of time. That would be the break in the retest and higher low, essentially, anywhere that we now find support. So, yeah. Let's break it down to the 4-hour just to see, are we finding? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's. It could certainly be. It looks like we're holding that zone about perfect. Damn, sometimes I fucking impress myself. Just got it. Just like.
Just pat yourself on the back, man. Come on.
Like, I'm just saying.
I'll do it for you.
Like, hey, look. Can you fucking balance and walk that anymore perfect? And how long ago did I draw this random fucking line?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we looked at this and we didn't look at it last week, I don't think.
I don't think
It's
so.
all-time high on Gala.
Like,
this is yeah. Remember we said a clean 500% on the last one? Yeah. How about a clean fucking 3,500?
Yeah. I bought some.
Not
around
okay.
2%.
Not financial advice. Do your own research. But if you are bullish on gaming, or into Gala, you may want to.
If you're bullish on play and earn or play to earn, however you look at it, definitely look into Gala.
In my opinion, this makes more sense than, for example, Doge.
Yeah. Or just most games in general, because Gala is the platform, not just one game. Like,
yeah, I mean, I only want money out of this. I don't use Gala.
Yeah. But that
Look how it's
demand
tested
for
on
multiple
that
games
purple.
will bring price action for the token.
Hit that zone and tested resistance on it like dead fucking nuts. Yeah, that's looking pretty good right there. Pith. Someone had asked about Pith. We only had like 1 hour chart data, but let's see what we got here. Well, you can see we touched right onto the green line. That was literally the high. But looks like we haven't lost the uptrend yet. You know, we haven't lost the uptrend. We also haven't lost this zone. We did break, the higher. We did break the high here. We are holding that zone, so I wouldn't say this is going down yet. But if you took the profits here, right at where we called it, I mean, look how you caught that one wick perfect into the profit point. Congratulations if whoever was asking about this, if they took it. Anywhere down here we said was a good buy. What would that be if you got in any of those zones like this zone here? You got in anywhere on that, we'll just go from the top of it, not even the bottom. 80%. Yeah, 80%. Congratulations. Whoever was
I think
asking
there were
about
some recent long
I
calls
didn't think
on
that one,
PIV
what you
too.
fucking did.
Yeah. On I think it was on Thor. There were some long calls called for Pith that I saw. I didn't take it, but I think Banana was talking about it in the DGen coin thing.
We haven't looked at Injective for quite a while, and look what it's doing. Again, we could be returning to these zones here. Especially since this was the last high. Resistance. Then it became support. Well, we need to test it for support again. We were saying up here, if we broke out anywhere on the break and retest, so 17%, but we're looking for our first take profit at 25 to 30%. And our second take profit down here near
extremely accurate trade signals. 8 out of 10 traders who have tried it.
What's up, Mike?
Oh. But yeah, this looks to be playing out the way we thought. Injective. But back to Solana. Let's go to 1 hour. We're just going to go in a little closer view to see what's happening with these candles printing right now. It's trying to find support. It's still trying. But we'll see what it does. You can see it was trying here. It was trying here. But we're testing the RSI, testing the downtrend. It's going to be hard to hang on, I think. But very well good. That's why you got to prepare for all outcomes. But if we start to lose it and it come back down in here, that's when we'll adjust our trend like that. And this will be our major resistance line that then we'll be watching. You got to be able to adjust and kind of rules. Why? What would the rules be? Well, we did break out, but we didn't establish the higher high. If we go back in to make a lower low, then it's still part of the downtrend, right? It's got to make that higher high or that higher low, and we could hold here, or we could test down here and hold a higher low for sure. We'd absolutely come all the way down here to $83 and still be making the higher low. That is possible.
Send it to 11.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for 11 just yet.
I'm fucking ready.
I don't know. Maybe I should be taking more profits then.
Bro, I've been stacking cash. Please go lower. Not just out of like my trades, but
Yeah, I'm
out of other things.
I'm ready for it to go a little bit lower. I'm not ready for it to drop all the way to 11 yet. I still need to take some more profits
Well,
before.
if it drops to 11, you're gonna have plenty of chances along the way.
Right. I mean,
Because if it just goes to 11 from right where we're at,
sorry guys, I'm from now on doing Tuesday Trader from someone else's laptop without a TradingView subscription because I sold everything I
have
own
no money.
to buy Solana at $1.
I maxed my credit cards with the new Jupiter thing where I could use credit card and buy. And
Yeah.
did you see that mode with the Jupiter
I did
thing?
not.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's like a temporary thing, but you can like buy crypto with a credit card
Is that
as an on-ramp.
is that what people were talking about? Where there were a lot of failed transactions.
Could be. I haven't looked into. I just saw the post. It was probably 5 days ago or something like that I saw the post on it. And I was like, that's very interesting.
I saw some shit like a few days ago too. It was like Solana. I don't know if it was Jupiter correlated, but I don't know, dude. Something.
It's been under a lot of pressure the past few days.
Does you mean Jupe?
Just so.
Oh, yeah, whatever. It's dude, like, just like people are saying, oh, is Sol gonna blow up? Are you prepared with all the liquidity coming in? I trade the charts, man. Fuck the noise.
Yeah.
Like, fuck the news, fuck the noise. I trade what the charts tell me. And as long as I'm prepared for either direction, I'm good. But I don't base something off of something I don't see. Right? So I still based my trades off of this downtrend, and breaking of this uptrend is the major thing. Because we broke this uptrend is the major thing. Then we got the bearish cross, right? Yeah, maybe we did pump a little higher to retest this high and not stay in our downtrend. Okay, we adjust our downtrend a little bit. But I don't think we haven't established we're in a pump.
There's some more of those green candles to get filled in down there.
And we could easily move between this zone, right, of $80 and 120, right? If you're looking more macro view, that's the zone that we could be moving around in, right? Without really making a bearish or bullish move per se.
That would be
in the
that
long,
would be decent,
right?
Yeah, that's when Thor's just accumulating
like
more soul.
And then look for the resistance. And if you get near the resistance, look to ride it down toward the support, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the way of like not perp trading, but how you took profit on your spot bag just to buy back in. I like to do that over using any form of leverage at all.
Right. And it's Solana that I've accumulated over time. Do I think we're going to $11? I don't know, but if we did, I'll be glad I sold some at 101.
Mm-hmm.
If I buy it here at 100, I'll be okay, fine. But if I get to buy it back, some of it at 75, great. If I get to buy it back down here, I really do think we're visiting this 30 range again. That was the big resistance resistance, then became support. And again, we've never tested that again. So wouldn't surprise me. That's where I'm really looking to load up, honestly. I'm hoping that bag I sold at 101 to buy a small, teeny portion back here, 20% cheaper. Buy a small, teeny portion back here between this long call and this zone.
It's like a
somewhere
small,
around
teeny
40,
portion to you
50%
as a percentage.
Say 10, 15%.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 10, 15%, 10 to 15%, so ultimately now I've spent, let's just say 25 to 30% of what I'm looking, and then I'm going to load up here or load up when I get what?
The retest.
Yeah, is somewhere
Yeah.
of this downtrend,
Yeah.
somewhere, be it here,
Then you buy on that retest. Yeah.
wherever that break and retest be.
So
If
that's
it
where you
happens
said
to be
you
here,
buy
you never
on the
go back.
break.
No, okay. I'm buying back here at 76 and 74 then. That's
Yeah.
where I'm going all back in. I mean, we don't know where it's going to be, but I need to see that before I'm going to switch the direction of the trend that I think has been established. The trend is your friend till it ends. So if I'm in the uptrend ended, okay, got out of my uptrend. I'm looking at this as the beginning of a short trend. I'm getting in my short trend and I'm going to ride it till it ends, wherever that end may be. Now, if I get it down here and I load most of it back up at 35 and it still goes down to 11, so fucking be it, because I sold it at $100 and I bought it back at 30. I'm happy, right?
That's a win.
You're not going to get the most out of everything every time. You got to be happy with profits. Profits, prepare for the next trade. Wait for the next move, right?
Yeah, and you're mitigating your risk by doing like 10 to 15%. Both ways.
Ladder back in, right? Ladder back in. Don't blow your wad. Just ladder back in, because what if we get to here and this is the bottom, right? What if we do get here and I buy 10, 15%, and then we get the break and the retest? Well, at least I got some down here before I'm buying back here, right?
Yeah.
At least I got a little bit. And I'm still making profit, because it's still under $101. So it's still profit. But the way to try to let the moves play out and let it breathe is kind of what I'm trying to do, because I didn't sell all my Solana. Not by any means. It's not like I sold all my Solana, so I need to buy it back cheaper. No, I sold a portion of some of my spot bags and looking to use that to buy back down here on this long main term support from what, let me move this to a daily. Remember, back here at $8, strong support and major push off of it. Here, $12, strong support, major push off of it. Here on this support line, $18, $20, strong push off of it. Coming back down here somewhere near that 30, even just above, if we find the support on that, kind of right, let's say, box, there's the box. Bam. See, we even given that trend, we could come down, find the support, retest this zone as support again, be in our major uptrend. I mean, that is a complete realistic move, right? It's the same move as this, except just larger. It's the same fucking move, right? Same fucking move. And I know it's crazy to think that. So you're saying we could lose 60% and still be bullish? Yes, I'm saying we can lose 60% and long term still be bullish.
And I mean, and relatively too, like that. Look at the time frame. I know it's like, look where your mouse is. That's in June. You know, like so much can
Right.
happen in that.
Exactly.
That's just great. Like we come back in 1 week and it feels like totally different. And you had months. It's just going to be like a fucking year.
I'm saying when you zoom out and look, and what type of trader are you? Right? This is the thing that's important about time frames. Are you looking at the daily chart and you're the type of trader that's trying to sell anywhere here from above $80 and buy back anywhere between say $50 and $30? Is that the type of trader you are, trying to make a 50% swing, knowing that it may not happen for a few months? That's perfect. That's great. Well, more power to you. There's absolutely nothing wrong. Are you the type of trader that you're trying to log on today at 8 o'clock in the morning and log out this evening with some type of profit? Well, now you need to be here on the 15-minute chart. And okay, maybe you could have pulled out 4% today, which is pretty fucking good. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you got to know what type of trader you are. Are you trying to pull out 3 to 4% every day? Or are you trying to let moves play out over a couple months and make a 50% swing trade with a portion of your bag, right? Neither one of them's right. Neither one of them's wrong. They're all powerful. That's why you just need to figure out what type of trader you are. If you want to buy Solana cheap at 73 or at $50 or down in that zone we say we may test here at 30-40, you're not going to go on to Thor and look for 15 minutes.
Yeah,
just like if you're trying to close a trade with profit by tomorrow morning, you're not going to sit there and look for a Thor daily call or one of these giant 4-hour calls, right? Got to know what type of time frame and what type of trader you are. And I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong. They're all fucking powerful, and you use them all a little bit different, right? Because if we're talking about this daily, and this 4-hour time frame, we're talking about looking to go short, right? Now, if I go into a 5-minute chart, if I'm on this 5-minute chart, man, what are you talking about? We're in an uptrend. Why would you short? What the hell you're talking about? You're going short. We're holding higher highs, higher lows. We're finding support on the EMAs, right? I may look to go long on that test, but you're looking to go long for maybe a couple percent and then take profit and get out. Where, again, if we go back to the 4-hour or the daily, do you really give a shit about this move right here when you're trying to sell somewhere between 90 and $100 and get back in somewhere between 70 and $30, right? Like, that you got to know what type of trader you are, what type of move you're looking for, what type of time frame you should then be paying attention to.
Yeah, one of those I get wrecked, one I don't. So I'm sticking with what I don't get wrecked on.
Dude, that's good. And that's smart. You're a longer term trader. You don't, you get too emotional. You don't feel like you know enough quite yet looking at the charts.
I get too emotional.
So, but you understand longer term moves and patience. Yeah. So that's the way you trade. And dude, the shit you're telling me, the buys you're making and everything else, you've been making some really good moves. I know a lot of you guys have been making some really good moves.
It's a testament to you in here, man. Everything you're teaching us. Like, I'm just trying it and putting it in practice with small bags, And so eventually hone those skills more and those numbers get bigger and this concept stays the same.
That's the way. Start with some small bags, and then once you have a routine, a rhythm, and you have confidence, then you start to make moves with a little bit larger portion. Still always manage your risk the same, but start making moves with maybe a little bit bigger bags. Once you have a rhythm, once you have a flow, once you are completely comfortable hitting buy, sell, setting your stop loss, accepting a stop loss, and getting stopped out without getting upset. And, once you've got everything down, start playing with a little bit bigger bags. Try to manage more of your money, right? But starting small and getting the learning process and making micro moves, especially micro moves of accumulation, right, at a time before a bear market may really rip. Right. So if you're just earning 2%, 3%, and you're like, man, that's not really much. Well, if you're earning 2% and 3%, back here when Solana was $20-$30, well, think about what that 2 or 3% over, a couple days, and then 2 or 3% over a couple days, 2 or 3% over a couple days. Think about what that accumulation at 2 or 3% a few times did. It all went up an additional 300, right? So small accumulations lead to big gains, and making those small wins gives you the confidence to make the big moves. It gives you the knowledge to make the big moves. So don't ever underestimate, trading small bags or taking small gains, right?
Yeah, one thing I initially, just psychologically, I felt like the smaller gains were not anything to respect, and that couldn't be furthest from the truth. Everything adds up. It is not until I learned the hard way. Like, I have to learn the hard way to learn, just how to maneuver in a different light. And so, man, like Rumpty said, everything that we've, collected from these sessions and applied, has really helped. So we can't thank you anymore,
I appreciate that,
no
man.
doubt.
Like I said, that's why I'm here each week, because I know you guys are learning too. And dude, above all things, I value my time, my freedom, and independence, right? I value my time to do what I want to do and what I need to do when I need to do it, and not be on someone else's schedule of when something needs done and done for them, right? That's not me. I value my time and independence. Like I said, I'm willing to help anyone that's willing to help themselves. So if you are here week to week trying to better yourself and gain some financial independence, and time is wealth, get some of your own time back. I'm fucking here, right?
Teach me to fish, bro. Don't give me a fish.
What was that?
I said, teach me to fish, Mo. Don't give me a fish.
Fucking right, bro. We're fishing with Thor. That's kind of like fishing with dynamite, right? Like,
That's
don't blow your fucking hand off.
Dynamite and a shotgun.
Don't blow your hand off, and we're all gonna fucking eat.
Goddamn.
Dude, those like these little moves with my wallet that I tried. Like, I started that wallet, I think I told you, probably like 2 weeks ago, something like that. Started with 10 SOL. If I bought back in with the USDC that I have, like I've made some where I'm trying to buy back in some, same as you. If I bought back in, I would be up with 10 SOL starting at 10 SOL 2 weeks ago, like almost 1.5 SOL. which that's those small wins over that time period is now look at that percentage, like that's a massive percentage in 2
Right on,
weeks.
Rumpy.
Right.
But that's a testament yet again to what we're learning here, but also making smaller moves. It's
Right.
those small moves that added up into all of that. So.
And Rare, I see your comment. If we go to $30, that would be very surprising. It would, but I don't think it's not unreasonable in any way. I'm not saying I think we're going down to $30. I think we would more so find support in this zone of 34 to, or on top of it at 40. But I do think it is absolutely possible reality to be aware of, especially a couple strong wicks, right? And another thing to pay attention to in this, in my opinion, again, this is just fucking mode drawing lines. What do you think? That's a 50-60% loss, right? If we go to Bitcoin, we have a big zone that looks to be refilled here. And that's down. How many times have we heard 32,000 for Bitcoin, right? As a zone. And for Bitcoin, that's 25% loss. And we know how strongly we pumped Solana pumped compared to the rest of the market, right? So if Bitcoin does 25%, it wouldn't be a full surprise to me if we lost 50% in Solana. So yeah, I mean, I know it is kind of like, seems like a huge dip, but at the same time, it is a reality I think we just need to be aware of. What do we say there? Same question.
Yeah. And
yeah, but 60% for Solana, when Solana made such a major move on this last rip, I don't think is that crazy. 60% for Bitcoin would be kind of crazy. But that's why I'm saying if we get that 50% correction for Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, 25% correction for Bitcoin, we could see that 50 to 60% correction for Solana. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and just because it goes to 30, if it went there, doesn't mean it like goes to 30 and ping pongs around there. It could be a fear wick down into 30 and then you don't see it again.
I mean, it's just something I think we absolutely need to be aware of, just because that was such resistance. Then it became support that we never retested. We literally just moved out of that zone so fast and never retested it. And the fact that literally our longest term trend that's been support, major support, major support, major support, it's right in the zone to again test the major support of the break of our downtrend. I really think we could kind of break and find our higher low right here at this gold zone, and test that upper 30s, maybe not $30, but upper 30s.
That's what Rare said, right there. That's what he just said is what, like, learning in here. If it was at $30, it drops to $30, and I'm not in here like talking about this or learning about this stuff. Imagine what the market is going to be feeling, like the fear amount that will be at $30. But this has been a possibility that we've seen here for however long. So it's like
the fear of losing $50 is what could throw it down into the 30s, right? Losing 50 is what could cause that crash FOMO to the upper 30s or find support here in this zone of mid 30s to mid 40s, right? Because that's what most people are going to say. If we lose 50, holy shit, it's just fuck. I better get out now.
Yeah, and I'm with Rare on
if you fall in anywhere in this pump. when people start paying attention to Solana here at $55 to $70, and that's when people then really FOMO'd in for what to now at this time looks like could be our blow off double top, right? At least right now, what we have that looks like it could be our blow off double top, broke our uptrend, found resistance, and could break back up and make the higher high. So let's see. Do we break below this 80, or do we break up and out and find support? We don't know. We just want to be ready for all options. And, just because we have these long calls and so many long calls stacked with Thor, let me go back to Thor real quick for those of you that maybe jumped in a little later and didn't see this madness. Give me 1 second. We have a lot of calls for Thor, right? A lot of these, you'll see some of these daily calls are the exact same as these 4-hour calls, right? But you see how many long calls we have, right? All these long calls have something in common, and that would be entry price is lower than Solana's current price, right? We're not going to fill a long at a lower price without Solana first going down, right? So this kind of our own day, not financial advice, do your own research, but opening this short in this area on the break, the retest, or here resistance wasn't a Thor call, just to be clear. It was of our own Trader Tuesday TA. And looking to use the Thor calls.
Damn it, I missed it.
As our point. Take profit, and then down on the major support in this zone, take profit, especially at the break and retest of it. Sorry about that. Whoever I just cut off. What was that?
No, you didn't cut me off. I was just saying, damn it, I missed it. But to go back to the Trader Tuesday reviews, this is just a reminder for myself and I guess anyone else. It's always good to go back to the Tuesday write-ups because I hadn't followed up with last week, and this is a perfect call that I could have placed myself in, So
I will say that was also my fault that I did not post the last write-up. But if you remember, you were on the last stream. This was the uptrend line that we drew right here. And we said we don't want to go short until we break that line, right? So even if we think the ultimate move is down, we didn't want to chase into the pump and we didn't want to shortchange ourselves. So we wanted to wait till we broke this trend, right? So once we broke that trend and then made the retest is when I made my short. But I did fail to make a write-up. So that was my bad. I do try to always do that on the charts, but this was our last Tuesday trader call at the break and retest, and exit on this line right here, then resistance, then became support. We wanted to test this support, and we got that move for 20%. Which was pretty sweet. So that's why I marked that green. And I personally have taken a call there. So I'll put another little arrow for the Tuesday trader call, and we'll see if it becomes. And right now, it's already in a bit of profit, but we'll 4% profit, pretty good. But we are looking for a little bit larger move out of this one. We're looking for that 24% profit, right? 25% right into that Thor entry call. So at this point, this, in my opinion, is where you may look to adjust your stop loss to break even, right? Or close to. Instead of having your stop loss, if this was your entry point, instead of having your stop loss above the initial high, maybe bring it down to this last high, because if we're going to hit that, we've now broken out of the downtrend also, right? Not financial
yeah, I
advice,
see.
but that's laddering up your stop loss, right? And like, if we are to say meet resistance here and then go down, right? Then you can move your stop loss down to above that last high. So if you get stopped out, at least you're stopped out with some profit. If things are to reverse and go the other way, you're getting stopped out in profit instead of allowing it to have your original stop loss point. That's what you would call laddering up your stop loss. But not really, maybe set it here that above this last one at the 102, 103, or I'm sorry, 103 range. But obviously not down here because we haven't established this yet. This one was hypothetical.
Just in case it breaks the trend.
Exactly. Just in case we see this. Right? Just in case it goes that way. As it does, you're not getting stopped out up here after it's already blown through the major trend. You're going to get stopped out here right by your entry, right as it starts to get out of it. And then you can maybe look to enter long on the retest, or where does it meet resistance and, start to come down. And maybe you can get a better short entry up here near maybe where it retests these tops, or up here where a Thor call is saying to go short, right?
Yeah.
Just managing your risk and then waiting for the next play. One of the things I did as a trader that ate my account up, I should say, is I would get stopped out on a short and think, oh, well, I must have to go long. And then get stopped out on the long. Oh, well, I was right and going short. I'm going short again. Don't do that. You get caught in a sideways movement range, you're just going to get chewed apart. Have a plan.
Market makers are eating your ass.
Yep. Trade. Have a plan. Plan your trade. Trade your plan. Right. And just because, okay, you have a long, or let's say you have a short, and you get some profit, it doesn't necessarily mean it's time to go long. Maybe it's time to wait for the next retest to then enter short again, right? So don't chase. Watch for those Thor entries, right? And as we showed, let me go back to it. There are a lot of Thor calls for Sol right now, right? And most of them being long calls. And this granddaddy down here with a long call of $11 up to 47 with the
Yeesh.
300. Oh, good load. But look, right there, right? There's that zone we were talking about, right? Revisiting this zone
That's
at
a
that
massive take profit from that too. 61 is the first take profit.
for sure. Now let's look at that. Say that 35, 34, just below 35 and 61, right? Let's see if we can, with our own TA and what we have, see if we see where maybe that call is potential. Because again, having Thor lets you know that these are potentially coming, and then watching the TA zones won't be surprised, ready to react with, right? So here's that zone, basically from here to here. Right there, wow, retesting just above and just below what was resistance and became support. We need to retest this support. Now, where would $60 be in that? Not that terrible. Right back up to these zones, right back up to this Thor entry point, right? Because if this is support and this acts as support, aren't we going to test it as a resistance, right? It would probably be, probably something like this: break, retest, and we don't know yet. Do we continue or do we break down? We don't know. What Thor is saying is, if we come down and test this major support, we're going to come up and test this major what was support as a resistance at $60. Right?
Yeah. Out of curiosity, when if you could pull up your BTC chart, I was looking up some stuff like in
BTC?
BTC, Bitcoin.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, what the fuck?
Boomer.
Wait,
I
what is
thought you
this
said B. I was
BTC?
like, wait, what's B? What's up?
Yeah, because I was looking at, just thinking about like what Rare was saying. Just got my wheels turning, looking back like at when the actual halving is. I wanted to see, these zones around the time of, like, I know the time isn't, drawn in here, but like these lines that we have for these uptrends, the halving is at April 20th. By the way, 420.
Well, let's go ahead and connect our tops, right? Let me zoom in here a little bit, so it's not just, we don't have a top really established for sure yet, but assuming that this is our relative.
That is, exactly. Assuming
Right.
that is the relative top.
Assuming that this is relative top in this range, that will put us down here. What is, there's April.
Yeah, it's the 18th.
April 20th, right here, right on support, right in 32,000, right in the zone, right on our longest support line, right?
Yeah.
Let me go to daily just so we can see this fully, right? Right on this longest support line is where that crash and retest would be. And when you look at it like this, you look at this pump and then how far they go down. Does that really look like a big move down? Like that's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that would retest perfectly support.
Is that the COVID drop? The first drop? Like the big drop this trend is coming from? At the very far left? You're not the top, the bottom, sorry. Is that the COVID drop right there on the left, far left? Yeah, it is.
What, here?
Yeah, that is the COVID drop.
Yeah. 40,000. or 4,000.
Man, I wish I was tuned
Dude,
in
the
to
whole
fucking
world was
Bitcoin.
fucking melting. I remember that I was snowboarding.
Dude,
in
I wasn't even
Colorado.
in crypto, really.
I wasn't either, but the whole stock market was fucking melting. I remember coming back and the world was just falling apart. So, but I
Well,
was
you
looking.
stayed and it's still falling apart. So
Yeah. I was just looking at
But you
numbers.
see, you see when we zoom out like that, you see how we can, come down here, and it's really not stretching
how big
that
of a
far
percentage is that
beyond the
down to that?
EMAs or anything to
That is
come
what,
down here
25?
25% and retest that long support. And that's not huge. And especially, like I said, when you look at the pump difference between Bitcoin off its last major support of 80%, right? And you look at Solana's pump off of my last major support
500 or
of
something.
550%. It's not unrealistic to see Bitcoin bleed 25 and Solana bleed 50 to 60. In my opinion, in the TA we see now.
Oh yeah. Well, the interesting part is that it's even more interesting.
And according to Thorkos.
Now that you just said it, it makes it even more interesting because I was looking at the past halvings, just seeing like what had kind of occurred, and we were looking at like it was about 25% drawdowns from the where it was, but that's like on the run up from the hype of the halving, and then since there's no price action, just because the halving happens doesn't mean price action happens like immediately after that. Like historically, when you look at Bitcoin's runs, it's 9 to 8 months after the halving when you actually see the big runs. So that would be January 2025 to June 2026 is the 9 to 18 months after the halving. But when I was looking at the drops, that's where you could get that wick down around that halving because it runs up potentially or like relatively out of the hype of it, and then no price action happens because that supply crunch doesn't happen immediately. It's over time as the demand is still hitting it and the supply is now cut in half again. Then it plays in. That's when you see and that you can look back in the charts. It's wild to actually see like during the different halvings, it's roughly 9 to 18 months after the halving is when you see the big runs. And it doesn't mean it's going to happen in this time, where each cycle is always so different because we're more adopted than we ever have been. But,
And look at this on BTC. If we throw a fib of when we broke the major downtrend, right? From when we broke downtrend to what the retest point was, right there on the gold zone, right? And we're meeting resistance. Green line is where I usually say is take profit, right? And you see blue line is the first take profit. Look at all the resistance we met on it. And then we found support at the 0, and then pumped up to take profit there. So now are we going to see
that's over a whole year, by the way. That was just a whole year that you looked at.
Right. Now are we going to see the same thing? And, if we hit the green line again, right? The green line on the short long term, notice how it's not all the way back down to where it started. It's just a level up, right? It's just barely, it's that one step up. So you take all these steps up to go back down, but not back down all the way. You still start just a level up, right? See what I mean? If we were to find support, let me move this and maybe see it a little
Man,
bit.
fibs are some hacker shit lines, bro.
Nah, for real. The shit's weird. It's interesting.
See what I mean? If we went back down to here, it would be kind of one step up from where we started at the last bottom, right here. Instead of going all the way down here, oh, we're one step up. We're starting at one step up. And that's market maker fucking games. Market makers will take money and ladder all the way up here and then inflate price and lose money here, knowing they're going to come down and revisit these zones and recapture everything. They'll blow out Solana. Let's look at Solana.
Not me, motherfucker.
Market
Thanks to
makers-
God. You ain't getting me.
Market makers will lose money here in this zone at $34, $35, knowing they're going to get people to FOMO in above 70, and that they're going to then come back down to this zone again and recapture, right? Like,
That's a patient ass game.
dude, listen to Warren Buffett. What is the market? The transfer money from the impatient to the patient.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
it is right there.
Absolutely.
I had one teacher. He said the stupid criminal tries to rob a bank, and the smart criminal will found a bank. And market maker are basically banks, in my opinion.
There you go.
Ah,
Yeah, they're not afraid to lose money, knowing that they pump shit up and then can get you to FOMO in. And I'm not saying you, I'm saying the general trader, right? Because we said here at $70-some, we need to cool down, right? Like shit's going insane. Look at this pump. But then people started to FOMO in because Solana was hot shit. You know? Same people that FOMO'd in here at 70 and $80, you know, once they see it coming down to 50 and 60, they're gonna fold out, and that can push price even down lower, right? It's all, we don't know. Or it could turn around right now, find support at $97 and head toward fucking 170. That is absolutely realistic. Like that is possible, but it's not what at this time, what I'm seeing from the EMAs, what I'm seeing from the broken uptrend, what I'm seeing from a what is now respected somewhat downtrend, what I'm seeing is resistance on the RSI. I'm seeing how many long calls Thor has. I think the higher probability move is testing some of these lower zones. Not financial advice. Do your own research.
Damn it, man. I thought I had you. I'm going to make a tweet right now. Market makers ain't getting me, motherfucker. I got a mode.
Dude, and you know, it really, in my opinion, it changed the way I viewed the market and the reality of making some of these moves when I understood that there is a market maker, that, you know, it's not, oh, I go list one Solana for sale and you go buy that one Solana. Like, you know, the old days of waving pieces of paper on the stock exchange floor. That's not how it works. There's whales that hold massive amounts of Solana and massive amounts of money that they're buying Solana from you and they're selling a little bit to someone else. And if they want to flood the market one way or another, push it, you know, they are the whales and they can do so. But they're not really going to do so without reason. And you see how
it wasn't until I started getting stomped out of stop losses that I was like, "There's no fucking way." And I was,
you see things moves repeated over and over. You see how they take advantage of human emotion over and over. You see how they take advantage of fear and greed over and over. And it's too many quote unquote coincidences for it to be
Oh, hell yeah.
coincidence in my opinion.
Bro, I always knew the game was rigged, and then I had GameStop, and then I found mode.
The game is rigged, bro, and that's why we're trying to see the puppet pulling strings. And Thor peeks behind the curtain for us,
Yeah.
gives us a couple little fucking
Shows the
sign
feet of the
language
fucking
hand
wizard.
signals,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it's up to us to what we do with it. But Thor gives us that peek behind the curtain that
Thor
we
gives you the
need.
peak, Mode gives you the keys to the room, and then you got fucking fibs that just show you exactly what's fucking happening. Like,
What did Fibonacci know that we didn't know about numbers and shit? 'Cause
Good.
that shit works way too good.
Well, it's not. Do you know about the Fibonacci scale and everything? Like, it's not just for trading. It's the exact way a seashell is made. It's the exact way, parts of the human is designed. Like, everything in nature is designed, to certain scales, and the Fibonacci scale happens to be just
A universal scale.
one of those things that's repeated in nature and creation. Yeah.
Nah, didn't really know that, to be honest. I learned something new.
Yep. Fibonacci's fold out and all kinds of different things. And it's,
and they
like I
definitely
said,
use
one
those
of those
levels
things
too.
that it's
The
too
market makers
often
do.
a coincidence to be coincidence.
Yeah, I think that's what my first sense was like when I started to see more of those things, learning it from you and seeing how those levels are just like touched, or then it goes to it and then comes out. It's just like there's too many coincidences in a
Oh,
fucking row.
like this perfect lick, right? We said this was our exact top. Look how those wicks found exact support on it. And then when we had our short and our take profit at that point, look, a candle never even closed. It got in and it got the fuck out.
Fucking market
it.
makers.
They're just testing the waters, man.
It didn't hang around long. If you weren't there for it, it left you behind. And now if you're FOMOing in now, well,
Mode, could you
see
say
what
again what you said about the fib, like the overarching like fib stuff?
Like a Fibonacci and the Fibonacci scale. He discovered that things in creation are on this expanding scale relative to itself. The spiral of a seashell, the way a human ear is exactly, the way the valves in the heart are. They're all in scale to itself. If that makes
Did you just
sense.
prove God exists with Fibonacci levels, man? Come on.
I mean, that's if you ask.
Hey,
What Tesla said. If you want to talk about God or you want to talk about physics, you're talking about the same thing. It just depends who you're talking to.
That's wow.
that's bone chilling.
Yeah.
So
I'm writing that shit down.
basically, it is almost proving that there is somewhat order to creation and there is somewhat method in the chaos.
Unexplainable, but it's there.
Too many coincidences to be coincidence.
Well, now we're getting into deep shit.
now we're gonna.
Oh, this is we're putting on our
Yeah,
tinfoil
yeah.
hats now.
All right, everybody got your tinfoil.
By volume, there is no such thing as coincidence, only laws unrecognized.
Mm,
So everything happens for a reason in cause and reaction.
Yeah.
If it's a coincidence, you just don't see the cause for that reaction.
Yeah, so that's like reinforced through thermodynamic law. It's like energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wealth is neither created or destroyed, only transferred. And we're trying to be on the right end.
And
of
I'm the motherfucking patient one, bitch. I ain't being impatient.
Bringing it
anymore.
back around, motherfuckers.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we're tied
Those days
back.
are over.
Oh shit.
All right, it's been about 2 hours. I feel my voice starting to go a little bit. Seriously, any questions? I know my charts get a little crazy looking, and I guess let me touch on this real quick before I open it up to questions. All those crazy lines, all that shit you've heard me talk about the whole time. You don't need to understand that to understand Thor, how to use it, or how to be a profitable trader. What you do need to understand is this right here. Next to any trade you will see in Thor is the RM button. Set up your trade, the risk management tool. So if we're going to hit one of these long zones, right, the first one that we would hit would be this top entry point, $89 with a take profit of 94. If I want to take this first long call that could be incoming, all I need to do is click risk management. Right here, quote currency. You put how much you're willing to lose. So I'm trading in USD. Let's just say I'm willing to lose $20 on this trade. Calculate. Okay, I'm going to buy 3.65 SOL at $89.13. I'm going to sell that 3.65 Solana at take profit 94.6. And I'm going to set my stop loss at 83.65. Boom. There you go. You have used Thor. You have set up a trade and you have properly managed your risk and you've never even looked at a chart. You could go ahead and set this long because it would be the first one to trigger. And you could go ahead and say, what would be the first short to trigger? Okay, 101.97. Risk management, again, $20. Okay, sell 6.93 SOL at $100.56. And I'm going to buy that back or close my short for that 6.93 SOL at $97.67. I'm going to either buy that SOL back or close that perpetual short at 103.44 as a stop loss. There you go. You could set both. Set it, forget it, pay attention and see where they execute and which Thor calls trigger and which ones become invalidated. And you never have to look at a chart. You can just look at Thor, still properly manage your risk and be a profitable trader. Now, I like to look at charts, have an idea of what I think is going to happen, and then put those Thor calls in position to give me an idea of what I made. That's just my personal trading strategy and, a little bit of TA that I try to teach you here on Trader Tuesday. How much leverage is equivalent? So it's not, give me a second. It's not leverage. What it is your risk to reward ratio, right? So if I just, does the stream pop? Okay, there we go. Risk management. 20. So this is your risk to reward ratio. Basically, a 1-to-1 is, you make $5, you lose $5. Or let's just say 10. You make $10, you lose $10. 1 to 1.5, you lose $10, you make 15. 1 to 2, you lose $10, you make 20, right? So it's not a leverage. It's just a risk to reward ratio and balance. What is your target take profit? What is your target stop loss? How are they relative to each other? Hopefully that kind of makes sense.
Can you show us the link daily? I saw the Telegram channel that there's a link daily call, and I wanted to know if we are still in the area. So, is it active? Okay.
Well, this is short. Is that what you were talking
Yeah,
about? The
yeah.
short that's active? Okay. Link's current, let me just refresh that. According to this, Link's current price is 18.28. I'm not sure what it actually is. And take profit 1 is 17.04. So, you'd be potentially chasing in this, but okay, let's just go do it instead of me telling you what to do. Let's go take a look. Let's go look at Link real quick, and we'll see, is there some type of support or is there some type of resistance that we're seeing that maybe would allow us to get into this call. Okay, so right now, and that was the daily, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd want to see some type of even short term, maybe come up and find some type of lower high to try to then get one. I wouldn't chase it on its way down.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like if we go here to the 4 hour, right? I don't want to chase it down here. If I see it maybe pump up, maybe fill out this inverted head and shoulder pattern, maybe I'll try to get in there and look for that because I have some indicator of resistance, some indication of it fulfilling without me chasing, right?
Yeah.
Not financial advice to your own research. Almost got me again, but didn't.
You fucking motherfucker.
All right, so back to Soul.
Hey Mo,
right.
I got a unless you.
No, what's up, bro?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I correct me if I'm wrong. The EMA is, the moving average of the price of the asset over that span of time. If you're doing 200 weeks in a 50-week, like it's shown with the white and blue line.
So yes, this white line is the 50-day EMA. So this white line is an average of the price over the past 50 days. So right where you see this white line right now, it's kind of the average of the price over the past 50 days.
That's
The
where I got it
blue
wrong,
is
actually.
the average of 200. So go
I was
ahead.
thinking 200 weeks for some reason.
No, no,
and
no, no, no,
and
no.
50 weeks for I
No,
don't know, but
no, no. 50 day and 200 day on the 4-hour chart. Remember, because if you look at where the EMAs are right now, right? If I switch to the hourly chart, we're actually got the bearish cross again already. These change. So that's why I refer to them as the short-term EMA and the long-term EMA, because no matter what, this is shorter term compared to the longer term. Now on the 4-hour chart, it is a 50-day and a 200-day, but that's why I call it short-term and long-term EMA. Because it does change to time frame, whether it's 50-day, I think it becomes the 20-day and the 100-day instead of the 50 and 200.
Okay, and what's then the significance of like the wicks hitting them is an indicator of price going in either direction in a significant way?
So I actually want to set up a stream. I need to do this sometime. Set up to kind of explain exactly what candles are and how candles work. What I mean by that is, and what a wick even is, right? So how a candle works is you have a price where it opens up, right? Shit. You have a price where it opens up. So let's say right now, price opens up right here at $110, right? Now let's say price starts to pump. Son of a bitch, I grabbed the wrong one. You're going to see a green candle start, right? Now let's say it pumps up here to 115, right? And then drops back down to 113. Well, now what you're going to have is from that 115, you're going to have a wick that shows it made it up to 115, right? But price is now at 112. So you're going to have that green wick no matter where this box goes, because it went up there, unless it goes up to it and covers it, right? Now, let's say it goes up to 115, comes down, and goes down to 105. You're going to have a candle that now looks like that. So what that shows is price went to 115, but it didn't stay there. It got away from it quickly. And now the next candle is going to open up right here. And it's either going to print another red bar going down, or it's going to print green going up. Does that make sense? You see what I'm saying? So if you see a wick, like let's say a top, you see a green candle with a green wick, because it you're never going to have a different color wick than on the candle. So you've got a green candle and a red candle. What this is saying is, okay, twice price tried to make it above 110 and couldn't get above this 115. for some reason, believe in bears, bulls, market makers, whatever it is, price is resisting getting up into this zone. It tried to and shot right out of it. So just like we said down here at this support, where we took profit because we knew it was going to be a big support, we saw the red candle come down, jump away from it. We saw this candle come down to it and then jump way away from it and close all the way up here. Price did not want to stay down there, right? Now, when you start seeing the opposite thing on the top of wicks pointing up where price tried to go up and couldn't, it tried to go up and couldn't. It tried to go up and couldn't, it tried to go up and couldn't. That can be an indication of, price attempted but couldn't fulfill. If you don't fully understand candles, how they open and how they close, there's lots of good YouTube videos on it. I'm definitely willing to explain it more, if it's something that you guys kind of need help with or don't fully understand yet.
Yeah, candles, for me anyway, are I got that grasp, but I had like in the Degenerate Shitcoin channel, I remember like seeing some people and even Sile say like waiting for such and such to hit the 90 EMA, and I was wondering like why though.
Well, like this, like if you want to, because that's your confirmation of some type of support, right? Like, let's say there was a Thor call for right here, right? Let's just say there was a Thor 15-minute long call for this area. Well, if you're in this price range, what you're thinking, I want to see it come down and test this EMA and find support, right? If it's just kind of riding, it may dump hard. You want to see it bounce and resist off of it, right? Just like if just like this, I wanted to see once I had this point and once it found support right on the EMA, that's when I set this Fibonacci and I said, I want to see it come touch the top of these lines and resist it. And if it does, I'm making my entry. Didn't happen to be an EMA this time. Right here was, if I wanted to go long, I want to see it at least test this EMA and get this short long out, right? Just like I said, I had this point. So that happened to be their confirmation point of what they wanted to enter or exit a trade. I can't really speak for certain because I didn't see the trade, but that's what it sounds like to me, that the EMA was either the support or the resistance that they were looking for confirmation in opening or closing that trade.
Gotcha. Circumstantial, but the premise of it, I get it.
Yes, circumstantial, but yes, you want to see, I wanted to see resistance or support at that zone. And as soon as I saw those two wicks or these two candles, this one not go up, this one couldn't break and it closed and really dropped down, I said, okay, I'm entering next chance I get. And thankfully, the next candle kind of pumped a little bit and I was able to get out around 101. Pretty much right at the gold zone, the price I was looking for. So, but I found that resistance I was looking for, because otherwise, you could say, well, we found support on the EMA and we were pumping. You're right, we did. But we lost the overall bullish trend. We did start printing candles not only below the white, but started printing candles below the blue. So I feel this is a retest of support, not really finding support, right? So again, take your trade on your TA or on Thor. And as long as you mitigate your risk, properly manage your risk, you're prepared for whether this breaks down or this breaks up. You know, if this breaks up at this point, I'm buying back here at 102, you know, or 103. So I'm not losing much at all. But my target to start getting back in is down here at 74 in historical. Because it lines up with my fibs and my TA. And Thor helps me say, shit, my TA looks like it's on. I'm going to ride. And if we do hit here, not only am I going to close some of my short, but I'm going to, you know, buy some of it, look to go long, and maybe take a little bit of profit here, 20% here. You never go broke taking profit. You go broke, well, you go broke by taking big losses. You sit idle without your money earning you money when you don't take profit and you let things ride back down and you're stuck holding the bag waiting for them to all come back. Right? I don't do that again. That's why I've put so much into learning to become a trader and put a big investment of my money I could be trading with. I put a big investment of that into buying Cyberfrogs and into buying Kira because I don't want to be stuck at the top holding bags again. And if Solana does drop to $30 or it does drop to $11, I want to be prepared for it. And Thor helps me do so. And I find the value in taking that from my trading account to basically leverage my trading, you know, the effectiveness of my trading and of my own TA. There's many different ways to use Thor. Like I showed you, you don't even have to look at a chart. You can use Thor and be successful. You can also use Thor to line up, take profit points as well as entry points. So I just try to show you options, show you what I'm seeing at the moment, and hopefully help you make some good plays. Not financial advice. I'm just a bozo drawing fucking lines on a chart.
No doubt.
You just draw in these fucking Christmas colored lines on this chart, man, with another bunch of lines.
Right? It does look like it just took like fucking a bunch of
Ornaments.
chalk and
Where's your
Christmas
ornaments, bro? Come on.
just fucking paintball the shit out of a fucking gray board, you know?
Bro, when Cyberfrog's paintball, you're fucking lit.
That would be
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Mode's on my team.
all right.
I'm just saying. I ain't getting lit up by that dude.
That's it.
I appreciate it, Mode.
That's
As
the
always.
trader review.
Fucking help
And
me.
there's our zone that we're really watching because that's our major support. And the bottom of what is, you know, nowhere near a trend that is established as solid as this trend. So don't get it confused. This trend is nowhere near supported yet, but at this time it is, and it kind of shows where that long run target for us could be. And again, that could be in June, July. Right? Let me go to the daily, see if it'll show me when that is. No, it doesn't. Oh yeah. You know, okay, that's saying August. July. Yeah. We may not see that zone until July sometime, June, July. But it gives us, if it is heading toward there, it's not a complete shocker to where we are panicking and we're ready to fold our bag. It's letting us know, okay, we saw this could be a potential. We had some Thor calls. I took some profits. Maybe now it's time to load back in. So again, the market is the transfer of money from the impatient to the patient. We all want to make money, but slowly accumulating will make more than having big wins and lots of losses, and because you're kind of gambling. Gamblers get lucky. Traders have a plan, execute, make money.
Yes, sir.
All
right, y'all. Yeah, definitely losing my voice now. I'm wrapping up.
right, dude.
Appreciate y'all. Frogs fuck.
TMP.
TMB. Fucking promise.
All right, y'all.
Frogs fuck. Frogs fuck. Frogs fuck.
Hey, yo.
Well.
Frogs fuck.
Great.
Oh god.
That was an absolute perfect time to end the event.
Just
Hopefully someone hears that on record. That's literally just the last thing they'll hear. But the trend is my friend until the end. It's so weird hearing myself.
Bro, that thing gets me every time when you're not in here.
real.
I'm like, is he in here? Oh, he's not in here, you motherfuckers.
Yo,
That's
Charles
like
will do
the
that.
one with Andy got me a couple times. I'm like,
Oh, that one gets me every fucking time. I was actually with Fihu one time, and Andy actually joined and said, "What's up, motherfuckers?" Like, I was like, "Did you just use that?" Oh, it actually Andy.
That's fucking hilarious. But all right, y'all.
That one.
There it is. Yep, that one. Hang on, I'm gonna go look at Jupe again.
What up, motherfuckers?
Bo can't help himself.
Hey, dude, he's not. I was gonna say when he's like, "I'm getting off now." I'm like, sure. Run
Yeah,
away.
we're
Put
just
out
Slides
the
being-
more,
order
bro.
at 50 cents for Juke.
We haven't seen, I'm not predicting that these is what they do because we haven't seen that yet. So I'm waiting, just waiting for that break and retest. And at this